Okay, this is a video about how I built out my 98 Dodge B3500 or Ram Wagon Maxi. It used to be a 15-passenger van into a work van for a handyman business. So starting up front, kind of just go through the things I keep where. So I've got a MagSafe charger, it works out great. And then snacks and drinks. And then I have a trash can here, which just lifts on and off. And that I use for putting trash from the snacks and stuff in. You can see I've put a plywood bulkhead here, which allows me to kind of separate the tool area from the cab. Lets me not have to worry about tools and stuff flying up, hitting me in the back of the head. Both the passenger and the driver have wide plywood sections right behind the head just to keep that, but I did keep a section clear that lets me use the rear view mirror. And then also if I need to pick up any 16-foot like trim stock, I can put it up through here and it will flex in. So to attach the plywood bulkhead for support, I put a piece of unistrut across the roof and then was able to screw that in so that kind of keeps that nice and solid on this side. So now on the passenger side, I do have a chargers there that I can connect to an inverter. Still working on how to get that totally cleaned up, but that was kind of the best place up close to where the power is until I bothered to run a 12-volt run from the battery to the back. So now looking on the side, so here's where I keep my most common thing. This is my go bag, pretty messy right now, but this has about everything I need for a lot of jobs, all my screwdrivers, wrenches, different things. I can really tackle a lot with just this, and I keep a thing of razor blades close. I change razor blades really easily. It's always worth having a sharp blade, so if they're close and handy, I'll just always change it. And it's like, I don't know, a few pennies for a blade, so never be caught with a dull knife. On this door is where I kind of keep all my most used tools. So I've got my impact and drill driver there, DeWalt, and then I've got the M12 series Surge with the installation driver. Those are awesome. I've got battery holders here and a go-to set of gloves, and then a little magnet rail that I keep just random little drivers and bits and things on. Okay, so now looking in here, I've got these sawhorses. I really like these rigid sawhorses. They collapse flat, but they're really sturdy when they fold out. They've got a sacrificial piece of 2x4 up top that I can replace, so I don't have to worry about using other boards to cut on. And then each foot actually can go up or down, so I can level it if I'm on a hill or something like that. Here between the seats and the bulkhead is where I keep a broom. I keep a cordless vacuum. And then I also keep my 6-foot level there. It'll actually slide there in that gap as well. That's out of the car right now. So I have this is where I keep my sawhorses and some clamps here out of the way. And then moving here to the left side, this is where I kind of keep really close by handy things. So I've got a few pieces of PEX and piping here that comes in handy. So actually the original frame of the truck kind of comes up straight and then bends in, and so you'll see that kind of the plywood, I start full wide and then each section kind of gets narrower, which kind of leaves this dead space between the window and here. I put a piece of plywood all the way down to keep anything from breaking the windows, and as kind of a security. Don't want people kind of peeking in. So I've got these little dead pockets. So I keep another level here, keep a couple pieces of PEX and copper pipe. This is where I keep kind of my safety things, a respirator, face shield, extra cartridges, so that they're close by, so that there's no barrier to like grabbing the face shield, so I can grab it really quickly and not be tempted to use a tool without it. Keep a M12 hacksaw right here with its blades, a couple clamps. So I keep kind of some cleaners, some paper towels. I got some spray cleaners back in there. And then these are my cordless. I've got a 18 gauge brad nailer and a M12 pin nailer. So those are pretty handy. and then keep a pack of gloves, trash bags. These gorilla or crocodile cloths are awesome. And then I keep a set of Swiffer wet pads for a Swiffer to mop up at the end of a job. That works really, really well, and clients love it. I keep a magic eraser. Anytime I'm doing stuff around ceilings, like ceiling fans, it's easy to get like dirt and stuff pressed up into the flat paint, and magic eraser take that right off. Here I've got my DeWalt 20 volt. It's actually a 20 volt, or you can plug it in. Battery powered vacuum. This is handy for quick little things. It's a little bit underpowered though. But it works pretty well if I drill a hole in drywall and need to pick up some stuff. And then I keep a kneeler pad here. If I'm gonna be on my knees a lot, I'll grab that. So that just kind of wedges in there. Never had a problem with that sliding out. And then most of these have got just a little rail that keeps everything in place. All right, so kind of moving in now. I've got a set of these pack out drawers. And I'm still kind of building these out, but these are awesome. So I'll kind of just see what I got here. This is kind of my sandpaper. I've got some Scotch-Brite cloths, things like some emery cloth. This is kind of my plumbing tools and supplies. I've got several shark bite valves and PEX fittings and some shark bite end caps, Teflon tape, pipe dope, just kind of anything you'd probably need for most plumbing jobs. I love keeping these little shark bite valves, and there's been several times now where I've gotten a situation where just having this stuff on the truck has allowed me to go ahead and complete the job without running to the store. And I can also upsell, changing up the new valves as well. So just having those handy is really great. Hole saws, driver bits, drill bits, things like that. That one's empty for now. This is kind of where I'm keeping some random hand tools. These hollow drivers are awesome, especially for taking toilets on and off. Those just go right over the toilet bolts. I've got my PEX crimper, caulk profiling kit, some tin snips, just kind of a random collection of things there. This is kind of my electrical thing. So I've got my non-contact, my meter, cover plates, switches, outlets. Again, just having those has already come in handy a couple times. I need to restock up on some of that. Looking up top, this is kind of I've got some marking stuff, batteries, tape measures, headlamp, new gloves, and these are still empty, so still figuring out what to do here. This Houdini spray is really awesome for cleaning tools, keeping the rust off. It actually smells pretty good and doesn't get like super oily. So that's awesome to keep around. It's actually made for locks, like for a locksmith. And then I keep this tray up top, which I use, and if I'm carrying like tools in and out or supplies, I can kind of load this up, carry it in, carry it back out, and it just lets me kind of carry a collection of things at once in and out of a client's house. Without having to carry everything by hand. So that kind of makes it nice. It just clips in. So you can kind of see so you can kind of see this is the main work area here. So I'll go down and just show you what I've got in here. I just usually keep a bucket of Home Depot returns. I'll buy extra materials, and then whenever I feel like it, I'll just return them to Home Depot and either get the store credit or it goes back on the card. Here, tucked in here, I have a tripod for my laser. And then I've got these are they're called door bucks. And so I can set these down and then put a door slab in here, and it'll keep it straight up and down. It's kind of like a vertical sawhorse for doors, if you will. And that's good if I need to plane the side or mortar some hinges. Just really handy to have those. So those just kind of fit in that dead space. And then I keep a tool bag just if I need to carry some tools in and out. Here I've got a laundry basket of drop cloths and a laundry basket of moving blankets. I like to put like moving blankets down like on a counter. If there's a chance I'll drop a tool, something to kind of provide some padding. Drop cloths, I'm going to make a lot of mess, or obviously painting. And then I use a lot of these pack out crates for various things. So this is kind of my plumbing supplies, mainly toilet stuff. So I always keep some Better Than Wax and some wax rings. I keep a full rebuild kit, some escutcheons if I need to put a new angle stop on. Just a variety of things. I keep a toilet bolts, sink drain supplies, things like that. Again, all this stuff is really come in handy, especially the toilet caps and the wax seals. Just, you know, you show up and someone's like, hey, can you look at this toilet? I tap into at least once now, and then I can just already have the stuff on the truck to fix it. So I keep some construction screws and drywall screws, and then trim paint. This is the trim paint I always use. Emerald urethane enamel, semi-gloss. That stuff is awesome. And then a roll of like builder's paper to roll down if I need to, if I'm going to do something that could potentially scratch floors that I don't feel like a moving blanket is going to work out well for. I tend to just have a 2x4 or some pieces of plywood in here. It just comes in handy. Keep a little mover's dolly in here to move like a dishwasher around, something like that. And then this is kind of where everything, all my painting stuff is. I love using these little 2-gallon buckets for cutting in. I've got all my rollers, roller covers, things like that. Got just a couple pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, just in case I need to cut something off or rake something or put something across a joist. And then I keep a bucket of all-purpose mud. And then my painting poles. This is just a leftover piece of insulation from another job. And then this is my 20-volt 7¼ inch cordless saw. So this kind of just sits in here, but I've got these little screws here that keep it from really coming around. I just have to lift it up and it'll sit right out, but it can't really slide forward or backwards or anything like that. All right, looking over on this side. So I built these cabinets. This is, they call it like Ron Polk style. He kind of came up with this system, but basically I've got little 1/4 inch slots. And so I can move these 1/4 inch pieces in and out and kind of customize the dividers. And then you just put this little rail on front that holds the dividers in and keeps things from sliding out. I've never had anything actually fall out. So my 20-volt sander, a hand planer for like door edges, a couple bags of drywall mud, 20-minute, 90-minute, spray foam gun, DeWalt trim router. This is my 60-volt cordless saw, my 20-volt 6.5 inch, I think, cordless saw. And then kind of starting back here at the front, this is where I keep like a brush for cleaning my drywall supplies. These fans I got from Costco. These are awesome for drying drywall mud really quick. Let's see, I've got my 20-volt rotary hammer, my mixing drill here. Again, this stuff, it can't slide out. It's got this rail. Here's where I've got a jigsaw, my cordless grinder, and my oscillating tool. I tried to kind of put the things I use most close to the doors, so I don't have to get in the truck to grab my oscillating tool or my cordless saws, or even my grinder, which is kind of the purpose because I use those all the time. So I don't actually have to crawl up in here. So now looking at this side, let's see, what else do I got? I've got my rigid vacuum here. This thing is really nice. It's kind of just the right size. I use that all the time. And then I've got a couple pack out containers with different things in it. So this is where I kind of keep all my electrical stuff. I always keep these kits of 6 and 8 screws because these are just invaluable to have. You're putting in a fan and the screws they give you aren't long enough to reach the box up in the ceiling or something like that. I really love using these Wagos instead of wire nuts. They're just super handy, super fast, especially when you're dealing with the little stranded wires on light fixtures. Some NM cable grips, cord grips here, outlet. This is when they cut the drywall out too big and the outlet ears, the receptacle ears won't grab the drywall. You can use these to kind of space them out. Grounding boxes. I normally keep a couple pieces of like 12 gauge and 14 gauge, just little wires in here. Just if I need to put a pigtail in a box or something, but I guess I used the last one. In this one, I've got like all my cabinets, all my screws. I got some trim screws, cabinet screws, some random drywall screws, some bits, things like that. These GRK cabinet screws are kind of my go-to screw. I love they've got this wide head on it. You don't have to pre-drill. They grip really nice. They're really strong. They're exterior rated with the coating on them. They're a little pricey, but I just love using them. And then let's see, this is kind of turning into my heavy mounting kit. So I've got lag screws, these power lags by Spax with this big wide head on it. I've got some washers and things in there. I need to clean this out a little bit. So these will just go into this kind of this cabinet above the vacuum. Kind of made it so that it could fit a thick pack out or two thins. All this is made of 3/4 ply. All right, so now looking in the back, so I can fit a 4x8 in here, kind of on an angle, but no problem getting that in. So I've got some more crates here and tack out. So here I've got Craig screws, pocket hole screws, and my concrete Tapcon kit. So that just kind of fits up in this section. And then I've got some crates of specific things. So this is kind of like my trim carpentry and fine work and flooring install kit. So I've got trim pullers, trim cutter, super glue, activator, a sharp chisel. I've got this, whatever they call it, dry decks for filling holes, little squares and things like that. And then this is my door installation kit. So I've got my door studs in there, shims, my hinge mortising kit, things like that. This is kind of my drywall kit. So I've got some 5-minute mud, some spackle, all my drywall knives, a toilet brush for cleaning out my tray for holding the mud. This is my tape drawer. Got all sorts of different tapes: frog tape, blue tape, yellow tape, duct tape, Gorilla tape. This is where I keep all the tape. And then back here is where I've got some larger squares, 2-foot level, wheel chocks, square. I've got my caulking gun. Got this for all my tubes of caulking, pry bar. Up top, I've kind of fit in, I've got these Bora straight edge clamps for when I'm trimming a door or something like that. Those are really handy. And then I've got my blower for blowing off like a driveway after I've created a lot of sawdust, and then my walking platform. And then kind of back in there is where I keep like some mallets and hammers and things like that. And then I keep my ladder in the truck because I don't want it getting dirty, because I want to be able to use the ladder on like a client's flooring and not be covered in mud and dirt and dust from the outside world. So I'll see if I can show you how this works. This is with the jet rack system. We'll see how this works. I've only done it once or twice. So it allows me to kind of put the nose up in there and push it in, and it rides on a piece of unistrut along the roof, and it lets me store it on the inside. To put it back, I just So it just kind of hangs up there out of the way, rides on a piece of unistrut, really slick. And so this is kind of just an overview of how everything works. It's been really awesome. Just having kind of a supply of things and all the tools that you need handy has just made it so much more productive. 2 other quick things. I always keep a trash bag can in here. When I have a trash can handy, I just work so much better. So if I'm doing anything sizable, I'll just bring that in, put a trash bag in it, and then fill it up, and I don't have to worry about keeping trash separate. If it's a smaller job, I'll just grab a 5-gallon bucket or a 2-gallon painter's bucket, put a Walmart sack in it, like if I'm pulling out a wax ring or something. Oh, this is my little bucket I keep for putting under like a sink supply when I need to cut off the valve to put a new valve in. And then I've got some LED lights up here. I just got these on Amazon. It's like 20 bucks, I think, for a kit. And that really lights it up.